Hello, Western Civ 104. Welcome to week 9. I'm just going to make a few brief comments. Mainly, you guys are all doing a super good job. I'm just aware that with the current situation, it's very distracting and hard to focus on school with worries about the virus and so many things shutting down. So I just want to acknowledge that. Let's get that out there, and we'll work through this together. I do think you know, this is a wake up call for all of us to realize. There's a line of a poet, Donne. I think he was a Christian clergyman. No man's an island, but a piece of the continent, or should I say? I think I like to say no human is an island, but a piece of the continent. This is a very important time for us to look at ourselves as human beings and realize that we don't live in separate planets. We live on one planet. And so whether you're part of Western civilization or Eastern civilization, look what's happening. Think about that. And hopefully this is drawing out the better qualities in us as human beings and not the worst. The one thing that I also want us to think about as Americans in particular is that we tend to not really care what's happening in the rest of the world, let's be honest, until it affects us. And then we act as if it's the end of the world because it's happening to us. And I think that we really need to realize the problem of that. And maybe when we're seeing a crisis happening in a place like China or somewhere else, instead of just brushing it off and looking at it going, well, I'm glad I'm not there, realizing that no. And look, all I'm going to say is, without being too political, our government gives lots of weapons and supports a lot of wars that are occurring in the world right now. That's a fact. And it affects many people negatively. And we don't seem to care about it. We don't think much about it. And, we should. Now, that's all I'm going to say for now. Let's hope for the best. I'm going to keep positive, and please feel free to contact me if you have any questions about anything or you just want to talk about anything. For now, I've been working 7 days a week, but because of the shutdowns, I might be working less or not at all at my other job, and I'll be definitely having more time to put into this one. So just to let you know. We're covering a very important time period in a set of information that I really enjoy teaching. I like talking about Scandinavia, Vikings, Beowulf, and Charlemagne, and really putting them into context in a way that's very interesting. And when I went to Iceland, I went to Snorri Sturluson's shrine, and I paid homage to this very interesting and great influential European writer. And that was something that I was really glad that I could get my cousin on board with, because instead of being on board, he could have just been bored. But I got him persuaded to read some Snorri Sturluson's, some of the Edda, and look at the sagas. And so, yeah, last year when I went to Iceland, that was one of my exciting trips, is to go there and talk to a Snorri Sturluson expert about this very interesting, mainly unknown to much of the world, or not thought about much, writer. So, but later what I want to show, and unfortunately, to go back to a little bit of the negative, there has been a lot of the white nationalist movement embracing, and this actually goes back to Hitler, but Viking and Nordic culture being used as symbols for white nationalists. It's very frustrating. So like the Thors Hammer, the Mjolnir, many people who just want to celebrate Scandinavian heritage, like I have, or people who are actually neo-pagans, it's not a racist symbol, but a lot of racists wear it to identify as white nationalists. And also there's the three triangles of Odin and all of that. I'm gonna post an article on this situation so you can be aware of it. And it's always kind of interesting and tragic to me how history gets utilized for various political movements in ways that you maybe wouldn't conceive of being used. We will explore that a little bit later. Maybe tomorrow I'll add that to another announcement. But I'll just end it there, and I hope everyone is having a good week, a good evening, and like I said, we'll be in touch.